Hello, and a warm welcome to Philosophy Live. Today we're looking at the life and writings of the mystical poet Kabir. Kabir Das was born around the year 1398 in Varanasi, a city in the northern Indian state of Uttar Pradesh, on the banks of the river Ganges. It was, as it still is today, an important spiritual centre. There is considerable mystery surrounding both Kabir's birth and subsequent life. Some believe he was of virgin birth, others that he was the son of a Brahmin widow. However, one thing that is generally acknowledged is that he was raised by a family of Muslim weavers and was a weaver by trade himself for most of his life. I'll share a picture of him weaving with you now. Legend has it that he was illiterate, and the only word that he could write was Rama. That makes it even more incredible that we are still reading his poetry today, and that his legacy has such a long reach. For instance, when I was looking for a picture of him to share with you, I was surprised to see that there is a short video on how to draw Kabir. Such is his continued popularity. Although Kabir did not found any sect himself, two of his disciples did. The Kabir Panth, or Path of Kabir, is a Sant Mat denomination that is still around today, preaching his teachings, and it has more than 9 million followers. There are a number of interesting tales surrounding the life of Kabir. One tells of how he managed to acquire a Hindu guru. The story goes that Kabir had observed the Hindu ascetic Ramananda and decided he wanted him to be his teacher. Kabir was aware that there could be difficulties owing to his Muslim background, so he came up with a plan to get round this. Kabir apparently lay on the steps of the Ganges, where he knew Ramananda went to bathe. The holy man was predictably surprised when he found he had stood on a buoy on his way to the river, and this caused him to say the mantra out loud. Kabir successfully argued that this was a form of initiation, and he should therefore become Ramananda's disciple. Despite objections from both Hindu and Muslim communities about the unorthodoxy of this, Kabir seemingly succeeded. We can begin to see the religiously fertile background to Kabir's life. Raised by Muslims with a Hindu guru in a highly spiritual city. Sufi ideals, such as the criticism of idol worship and the belief that everyone is created equal, are clear to see in his work, alongside references to both Hindu and Islamic symbolism. He is renowned for being highly critical of both Islam and Hinduism in his work, but I have also heard it put a different way, that he equally loved Muslims and Hindus, which is why he wanted them to see that all could reach God, because he was inside them and inside everything. All the men and women of the world are his living forms, he said. Kabir was simply trying to convince them that buildings and rituals are not guaranteed to offer deliverance. He says what is needed is to look within your heart. This shows his belief that it is love and devotion, or bhakti, that will achieve salvation. He writes, "If God be within the mosque, then to whom does this world belong? If Ram be within the image which you find upon your pilgrimage, then who is there to know what happens without? Hari is in the east, Allah is in the west. Look within your heart, for there you will find both Kareem and Ram. All the men and women of the world are his living forms. Kabir is the child of Allah and of Ram. He is my guru. He is my peer." Another thing that he challenged was the need for holy books. He stated, "Reading book after book, the whole world died, and none ever became learned." It is perhaps ironic then that his verses ended up constituting the largest non-Sikh contribution to the Guru Granth Sahib, the Sikh holy book. Kabir's songs were passed on through the oral tradition and were probably not written down until centuries after he composed them. It is small wonder then that there may have been some alteration along the way. It is also possible that some of them were not composed by Kabir, but were written in the style of him as a way of honouring him. The writings we have today were collected by Kshiti Mohan Sen, an Indian scholar in the early 1900s, from both oral and written sources, and were then translated by Rabindranath Tagore, himself a poet of great renown. Most of the Kabir songs that I quote from today come from the Tagore translation that was first published in 1915. Kabir was a husband and father, a craftsman, and, like us, a householder, and he spoke to the common man with his use of simple language about recognizable subjects. He wrote mainly in Hindi, the common parlance of the day, and he puts great emphasis on the home and the everyday, which he calls the proper theatre of a man's quest. As he wrote in song number 40, he is dear to me indeed. Sorry, just lost where I am. Found it again. He is dear to me indeed, who can call back the wanderer to his home. And later in that song, he says, the home is the abiding place. In the home is reality. The home helps to attain him who is real. So stay where you are, and all things will come to you in time. He appears to be speaking here about a physical and a spiritual home. He certainly saw no need to go to religious buildings or on pilgrimages to find God. He believed you could just as easily find him at home. And this wanderer he speaks of, this seeker, needs to be brought back to stillness. He heeds us, stay where you are, and all things will come to you. He makes it clear that his understanding is that God is a universal force of love, one that permeates throughout the cosmos and is within everything. He writes, the flute of the infinite is playing without ceasing, and its sound is love. He is quite insistent that we should understand. In the 4th song, he urges us, do not go to the garden of flowers, O friend, go not there. In your body is the garden of flowers. Take your seat on the 1,000 petals of the lotus, and there gaze on the infinite beauty. So how can we see this garden of flowers within ourselves? He gives us a clue in song number 6, which I'll share with you now. The moon shines in my body, but my blind eyes cannot see it. The moon is within me, and so is the sun. The unstruck drum of eternity is sounded within me, but my deaf ears cannot hear it. So long as man clamours for the I and the mine, his works are as naught. When all the love of the I and the mine is dead, then the work of the Lord is done. For work has no other aim than the getting of knowledge. When that comes, then work is put away. The flower blooms for the fruit. When the fruit comes, the flower withers. The musk is in the deer, but it seeks it not within itself. It wanders in quest of grass. Namely, we need to give up this outward seeking and look quietly within. We need to drop the ego and the selfish grasping for knowledge for ourselves and see that it is only a stepping stone to the real knowledge, which is the love and service of God through the love and service of each other. Everything is holy when it is seen in this way. As Kabir says, when love renounces all limits, it reaches truth. His outspoken disapproval of the organised church gave him a reputation as a trouble causer, and he was eventually exiled in 1495. Some reports say that he travelled around northern India with a group of disciples until his death in the city of Maghar in 1518. This would mean that he lived to the extraordinary age of 120. Despite being unashamedly critical of many aspects of traditional religion and causing much outrage, it is interesting to note that the Hindus, Muslims, and Sikhs all wanted to claim him as their own when he died. The charming story surrounding Kabir's death illustrates this. The Mohammedans wanted to bury his body, and the Hindus wanted to burn it, as is their custom. Whilst they were arguing, Kabir appeared before them and instructed them to lift up the shroud. When they did so, they found not a body, but a heap of flowers, of which half of them were buried and half of them burned. Kabir may or may not have had an external guru, but he certainly had an inner guide, and he urges us to listen to our own. He writes, "If you want the truth, I'll tell you the truth. Listen to the secret sound, the real sound, which is inside you." We could take that as our practice today. We could look within our hearts and allow ourselves the stillness and space to hear this quiet inner voice of truth. Thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed the talk, please do like it and share it, and have a lovely day.